Should you purchase an OSight Optic? I'll be very honest with you. I had a lot of hesitation going in to make this video because I knew regardless of how I would present the information to you, there is a huge amount of people who are diehard haters of this brand. And I understand. I also was a longtime hater of the OSight brand, which is the sister company to this brand, which is OSight, which is their optics offering in this market. Now, I've had no interest in purchasing this stuff. They sent me an email. This was sent to me for free for review, which I know for a lot of people immediately means you turn off the switch, it's over, shill, he's gonna just say whatever he wants. I want to give you my backstory to this product so you understand where I'm coming from when it came to making a review for this item. So I never intended on purchasing anything from OSight because of my familiarity with OSight and my negative experiences that I had with them. This was still around 4 years ago at this point, and it's not fair to assume that there was absolutely zero innovation in the last 4 years for a brand. That being said, I still was never planning on ever purchasing a product from them because I didn't feel like it was worth my time. These videos cost quite a lot to produce between ammunition, range transportation, videography, editing. It takes a while to actually put this together. So to put something together that I thought was just going to crash anyway didn't seem worth it. So they reached out to me and they said, we want to send this out. And I'm like, nah. My perspective when I was getting it was I already had a list of videos I was going to make mocking the product and saying that it was not good because it was very unexpected in my mind to have any expectation of this being worth the thing that they're sending me. But I said, I'll check it out. Fine. Where my perspective changed is in the packaging. Now, what I mean by that is that I would want you guys to look at this the same way that I did, where initially I was not happy. I wasn't excited. I was not interested in making a video, but from what I saw of how they started putting things together and making it present better, it shows that there is a very serious effort in trying to rebrand and do something better with the products that they're producing. So let me explain what that means. So I got two different optics from them. They sent me the OSight S and the OSight X. The OSight S is their competition to the EPS carry style optics. The OSight X is their competition to the Holosun 507 Comp, which is kind of like that big window competition style optic that Holosun offers. Now, when you open up the packaging, so the packaging looks like this. This is what it comes like. When you open it up, this is the inside of the packaging. So it has a kind of full design that opens up like this, and everything is very nicely organized. So my initial impressions were nice, very cool. But when you look at these boxes, I've received obviously a lot of different boxes before from different products. And I'm like, okay, I'm curious to see what's going to be inside those boxes because usually it's just kind of loose screws and little baggies that offer you all the things that you might need to do installation. When you open up the actual packaging though, so this is the screw box, right? So you can take it out. On the back, there's information about the screws that will be inside the actual box. So you get an idea of what's going to be there. And then when you open up the actual box, this is what's inside. They have a plastic hard case with each of the screws individually separated, and you have the long and short version of each of these offerings, so you know exactly which one to use. So when you open it up, you can see there's two of those I use for installation, and it has an extra, regardless of if you make a mistake or if you strip one or anything like that, and it has the long and short version of every measurement to make sure that you have what you're looking for. And you might be asking, okay, cool, which screws do I actually use? They include a double-sided pamphlet, a double-sided card that includes all the information about a bunch of different models, brands, offerings, and which screw you should use for each one that you have. So for here, it says the 6-hour P365 is a direct mount. You should use the M3 10.5 millimeter short. It's showing you every piece of information to make sure that you install it correctly. That's very impressive. Now, we have to give credit where credit's due. I'm not going to talk about the optic yet. Let's build to that point so we understand what we're working with. So right now, for packaging so far, we're doing pretty well. After that, besides for the user manual that's provided in the kit itself, they also have another card which shows you about the zeroing process. So if you're new, this is something that'll be very helpful. That gives you information about how to zero your optic, what to expect when you do that, as well as on the back, based on the screw that you ended up selecting for your particular firearm, it shows you the torque recommendation for each of those screws so you can't accidentally mess it up. Packaging alone, you need to give credit where credit's due. This is very impressive. It's very nice the way that they actually organized all this stuff. They also have accessories that come in another organized box with their zeroing tool, which looks pretty cool. and has all the stuff that you need. A velvety kind of material that's going to be for the lanyard, so it actually feels very premium, as well as a USB-C to charge it along with a rubber locking cable. So again, it's not like whoa, this is crazy, but it's very nice that they're putting in this effort, because I've got optics that are significantly more expensive than these that are over here, and they don't package them the same way, because there's kind of an expectancy of like, we're the top anyway, here you go, enjoy. So you gotta give credit where credit's due. So far, this is pretty nice. Then comes to the optic itself. So on the other side, we have this packaging where you open it up over here, and there's the optic, which I obviously already installed. And then on the bottom of that is going to be a charging case. A lot of optics these days modernize where they have side-loaded batteries where you're able to replace them, and it makes it easier with not needing to remove the battery and have to re-zero the optic that you're using. They kind of took it a step further where now you're able to take your optic that might be out of battery, and you simply take this case that comes included with it, which was out of focus, and then I just simply click it on, and you could see on the top, it is now charging. So they're really thinking, this is cool. Before we even get to the durability and functionality of this optic, you have to start giving credit. This is very cool because no one else is doing this. This is simply able to charge. If I press the button on the side, it gives you information about the indicator, letting you know where it's holding. If I take it off, you see that's the only charging port, which I'll give you my first negative. This is just a preference thing. I don't like that this is bright silver because it makes me feel like it's too reflective, even though this gun is a absolute mirror by itself. But like on a more, so to speak, concealed carry duty gun, I would want this to be less reflective. But again, like a small detail for now. But this simply attaches to the top, and now it's charging and it's letting it work. On the back of this, which is its own battery, you could see it's the USB-C, so you could charge that up, which means regardless of the battery, which I believe on setting 3 is 20,000 hours, if you're using the circle and dot reticle, you just need to take this to the range with you. If you feel like it's necessary, you pop it on, it starts charging, and then you're good. So it gives you an option of being able to have that, which I think is really, really cool. Now, it does also have the features you're already familiar with. So let's start going through the features. The features are the same with the X and with the S. So I'm going to be showing you the same for both. So on this, you see that very similar to optics you're already familiar with. There's the positive and negative on both sides, which on one side, which I do prefer. I don't really like when it's on either side. It's a preference thing, but I like when both of them are on one side. You have the windage and elevation adjustments on the top and on the right side of the optic. Something that might be hard to see, but I'll try to do close up, is right below the glass, there's a little dot over there. That dot is the light emitter, where it's able to, not emitter, it takes in light and identifies the brightness. So if you want to do the auto adjustment brightness setting, it will be able to do that more effectively because it's going to be in front of the optic itself. It does have small wings in the back of the optic. So if you're gonna end up co-witnessing, or if you wanna be able to have a shorter look through of your optic, if it's a direct mount, like for the X Macro, you'll be able to do that with this as well. And it just overall is very nice. You do have also the same feature settings where if I toggle using the back button, it will switch between a dot, dot only, circle only, and circle and dot combination, depending on the one that you want to look through. And if you look again, it's a very, very, very similar footprint to the EPS carry. It is a fully enclosed optic. It's a piece of glass on both sides, which I really like, because that means that if it gets foggy, I can just wipe it off on both sides. No dust or debris will get into the emitter and block the emitter, which is kind of my standard now. I want to be able to have an enclosed optic, and that's what this offers. Similar could be said, this is the other offering that they have. This is going to be the X, so it's a significantly larger optic, as you could tell, and this is going to be more geared towards the competition side. Same charging case that clicks on and it gives you information. This is such a fun optic to be able to run. So I was at the range with it recently, just running through rounds. And then this is what I did. I posted a video using this optic just to get a feel for what I was gonna expect in the comment section. And right when I posted the video, people already started messaging me and being very offended by the fact that I'm even using this optic on this gun. I will tell you, for me personally, I have a slight astigmatism in my eye. Every person, I covered up the branding. I didn't let people see it. I brought it to the range with other RSOs that were there. I said, I want you to guess the price of the optic, and I want you to tell me your thoughts when you point it out. They pointed out the optic, and for a lot of guys there, they said that the reticle looks sharper and cleaner than other optics they've used before. And I would agree with that. I have an astigmatism in my eye, and although the trick really is if you're target focused as opposed to front sight focus, if you're target focused instead of reticle focused, it will clear up even if you have an astigmatism. this reticle looks significantly clearer and sharper to me than other offerings that I've used. So I'm not sure in the difference in the technology that they're actually offering, but this was able to be just much easier for me to zero because the dot just seemed crisper and like closer together. I did have pretty like nice groupings that I was able to put. I was running dot torture tests with it. I went single-handed 50-yard drills, rapid fire through like barricades and all this other stuff, and it worked really, really, really nicely. So both for this optic and for the X optic, it was pretty interesting. Now let's get into some of my perceived cons. The two things that I don't have on this optic is going to be durability testing as well as longevity. So I haven't used this before for a long enough time to give me enough data to know if it's something I'd want to carry. So would I carry this on a defensive gun at the moment? No, I would not do that. However, it does show to be very promising for what I'm able to see for the future. So this is a competition optic, which means it doesn't matter. Like that's going to be a competition optic unless you run competition like as a business or it's something that you're very, very serious about. So you never want to risk being able to something mess up. For the price you're able to get this out in comparison to any other offering on the market, I feel like that's really hard to beat. It's a very nice big window. It's very clear reticle. It has good battery life. You could bring that pack with you, even if you're at the range, and just tap it on if you want to charge between rounds or anything like that. So I think that's fine. For the concealed carry side, obviously it's going to be something you want to be more serious about. So something like the S might be something that we want more time on to make sure that it's going to work out. In regards to durability, I did see a lot of people make videos showing the durability and it looked great. Like it looked like it functioned very well. However, again, it's not there yet for me to want to be able to carry it yet defensively because it is obviously something that you want to take very seriously. The other thing that I'm not sure about is that on their manuals, they list the material of the optic as OAL housing material. Now, I looked it up in as many places as I can, but all that sounded like is that it's a proprietary mix or blend of materials that make up the housing. So it's not like an aluminum, it's not like a steel, it's like a mix. Obviously, any company would, when they make their own proprietary thing, that it's stronger than steel and it's stronger than titanium and whatever it might be. There's no scientific data to back that. So I don't know what that means, nor do I know how long it's actually going to be able to perform. So is it that durable? I would hope so, but there's no way of me being able to know that for sure. So I can't give you any information on that. It does list it as IPX7 waterproof, which is good. And it does work in 0 Celsius to 45 Celsius. I'm saying Celsius because that's what's labeled in the manual. But those are going to be the things that concern me. My issue previously with OSight optics was that their recharging capability and their battery stuff in general, it didn't feel like it lasted as long as it should have. This is still a very like initial impressions video of these particular products, because I haven't had them again for long enough to be able to tell you this is the new gold standard, right? But what I can say fairly is that if you're looking for a competition style optic that you don't want to break the bank on, or if you have multiple pistols that you're just not willing to spend $450 to $500 per optic, they end up putting it on. Even if you end up getting, let's say, 350 or 300, those are going to be still a lot to be able to actually build up. And this comes in at a price lower than that in all those categories. So I can't tell you that, again, for regular recreational use, I would absolutely get these. I would purchase more of these personally if it's going to be a gun that I wouldn't take necessarily super seriously in the long term, because I don't want to spend $450 per optic that I end up mounting on every gun that I use. It's just too expensive. And for the amount that I've used it so far, it held zero. It worked fantastic. The reticle was clear. The battery life is working so far. This is still in initial impressions, which means if something changes significantly that I think is worth it enough to make an update on, I will make a video saying this failed, whatever it might be. But as of right now, I don't have that. So if you are interested, I'm not forcing you to do anything. However, if you do like this and you want to get one for yourself, there will be a link in the description down below that will give commission back to the channel to be able to make these videos. However, again, this is totally up to you. I'm giving you my honest feedback in regards to the packaging, the design, the functionality, the features, the reticle, the battery life of this optic so far. Again, once I have more information, once I be able to do more testing on it, I'll do an update video for you guys and let you know my thoughts. If you have any questions, because I'm sure there are, about these new optic systems, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This is Raziel Cohen with the tacticalrabbi.com. Thank you for watching.